The female protagonist dare not hang Weiya. I rotate and hang upside down at 365 degrees in the air. The female lead doesn't want to shoot a drowning scene. I can hold my breath for 2 minutes at a time, and I was so scared that the director immediately jumped into the water to save people. The female lead is afraid of dogs. The scene of being chased by a dog left me exhausted, and 3 dogs were skeptical of life. Your circle is in chaos. Long Tao is the master. Is there any problem that Lin Xiangxiang cannot solve? What? The female lead was overwhelmed by my halo and won't be photographed anymore. Keywords of the novel. After grabbing the female lead script, she became a hot topic on the internet with no pop-ups. After grabbing the female lead script, she became a hot topic all over the internet with a complete set of TXT downloads. After grabbing the female lead script, she became a hot topic on the internet with the latest chapters for reading. Chapter 1. Ex-Boyfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Ex-Boyfriend. The leakage of the house often leads to continuous rain at night, and the ship is late when encountering headwinds. Lin Xiangxiang tried to lean on his side as much as possible, looking left and right without looking at a table, enjoying himself. A large mask covered half of the face, trying to prevent the people at the table from recognizing him. Especially the former celebrity sitting next to position C. Former Zhou Hao is now enjoying the grand opening banquet with his current childlike innocence. But she was forced to come here and work as a vegetable delivery person for a day because she lost a bet with her best friend. Meeting up with their ex and current colleagues in this kind of crematorium is already very dangerous. If they were to be photographed directly by their own dozen or so journalists, tomorrow's second headline would be that the top scumbag on the 108 line, in order to survive, had to lower their status and serve dishes at the hotel. No, I don't want to do this. Why don't you give up? Lin Xiangxiang hesitated. Good luck starting up. Watching everyone raise their glasses to celebrate, Lin Xiangxiang once again wondered. Isn't the male lead actor Zhou Yan? Zhou Yan invited the entire crew to dinner. What did Zhou Hao join in the fun? Is he not in the group? And why didn't Zhou Yan come? I don't have time to think much. No one is paying attention right now, so she shouldn't be caught stealing, right? Turning around stealthily, he focused on the door and moved step by step towards it. It's getting close. It's getting close. Lin Xiangxiang's eyes were shining brightly. He had gathered enough strength, and he was ecstatic in his heart. The old lady no longer served him. Lying trough. I thought it was Rome outside the door, but unexpectedly I bumped into the deliverman and almost knocked over the plate of expensive green dragons. She clearly sensed the panic that flashed through the young man's eyes, as well as the resentment that followed closely behind. You're crazy. Can you afford to pay? The young man whispered a warning, and Lin Xiangxiang also felt a bit scared. He quickly apologized in a low voice. Hurry up and serve the dishes. What are you waiting for? Oh. Lin Xiangxiang's gaze reluctantly crossed his shoulder, clearly only one step away from running away. Reluctantly carrying the big green dragon, he shrunk his neck and lowered his head to the table. This is the best hotel in the city, and the speed of serving is impressive. She can't keep up with it and there is no room for escape. Fortunately, after several rounds of serving, they didn't catch their attention, so Lin Xiangxiang finally calmed down. The last dish was Buddha jumps over the wall. Lin Xiangxiang had no chance to run, but he had to slow down the heat. In her position, even if she lowered her head, Yu Guang could still see the hypocritical face of her predecessor Zhou Hao. It has to be said that the childlike innocence of the goddess of the people is really beautiful. It's just that my vision is too poor. Leave the top-tier superstar male lead Zhou Yan aside and find a whole network of dogs to criticize Zhou Hao. Zhou Yan is just a hot and cold favorite who can easily make Weibo shake 3 times with just a Reuters, and his male and female fans can line up and circle the world 3 times. Childlike innocence, the exquisite appearance that the heavenly lord admires and eats, with a seductive imperial sister's face, is a perfect match for Zhou Yan, right? It is not an exaggeration to say that some otaku have already directly contacted the instant noodle factory to book the next year's rations. Lin Xiangxiang felt a faint pain in his heart. The most painful thing in the world was that the CP he knocked on was not real. Even if Zhou Yan is clean and self-centered, always free from gossip and gossip, he cannot avoid being written by netizens about having a baby with 8 treasures. CP, who had been hitting for half a year, was about to hit hard when Tong Xin suddenly announced that he had collapsed on Weibo. Zhou Yan's Weibo has also exploded, with the only dynamic reminder on Weibo being that $1 million building has been built, once occupying the hot search. Hashtag the mysterious boyfriend of the goddess of the people has another person, who dug up the corner of Zhou Yan's wall. Hashtag National Girl Tongxin official announcement, surprisingly his son. Lol. My parents are very dissatisfied with their food and clothing. That's right. Very dissatisfied. When Lin Xiangxiang thinks of hot searches, his lungs ache with anger. Childlike innocence, why don't you listen to advice? The love brain has to dig up wild vegetables for 18 years. Childlike innocence not only refuses to listen to advice, but also has the intention of confronting the public. Netizen. Zhou Hao is cheating, the goddess is running away. Childlike innocence. Hauga proposed, babies, please help me see which set of wedding dress is suitable. Netizen. Zhou Hao's private life is chaotic, and his mother's mistress is in power. Childlike innocence. Hauga's mother is so gentle, she has established a future mother.in.law daughter.in.law relationship in advance. Netizen. Don't advise, wish the goddess 2 children in a year and 3 babies in 2 years, childlike innocence. I advise you to be kind to me. I am weak and cannot take care of myself. What's good about someone who manipulates traffic passwords and becomes the top performer, black and red? He's just a tough guy who eats soft food, okay? Lin Xiangxiang, who was sulking alone, wished he could immediately burst Zhou Hao's vest and let Tong Xin recognize the scumbag in sheep's clothing in front of him. Tongxin, if you say you're here, come and bring any guests, don't let it happen next time. At the dinner table, Director Zhang smiled and jokingly expressed his unwelcome attitude towards Zhou Hao. That's it. Lin Xiangxiang's heart echoed, feeling that the director had become much clearer. Zhou Hao is not only scumbag, but also has a bad temper and plays big cards. Blaming directors, screenwriters, props, and modifying scripts are all common occurrences. What does Director Zhang mean by this? Don't forget, it's my blessing that your drama was able to start. Lin Xiangxiang, who was standing on the side with his head down, curled his lips and remained as arrogant as ever. Watching Zhou Hao reach out his hand and without hesitation, he pulled his childlike heart into his arms with a high and aloof posture, his eyes filled with disgust. Yes, thank you for your blessings, Zhang Dao replied with a smile on his face. If it weren't for him crazily adding scenes by bringing funds into the group next door, demonizing the script and leaving the screenwriter, it wouldn't have been his turn to pick up the loopholes, Director Zhang secretly mocked. I heard that the new screenwriter on the production team couldn't bear Zhou Hao's demonic changes to the script. In a fit of anger, he switched jobs and worked all night to write a new script called Sword Talks About Immortal Heroes. This Guolin Xiangxiang still knows a little about it. Director Zhang glanced at the script and slapped his thigh directly, saying that he was definitely the top performer of the xianxia genre. The preparation was urgent, which allowed Lin Xiangxiang, who had been auditioning for more than 30 productions, to catch up with the excitement and get caught up in a trap. I don't know if Director Zhang, who has been passionately preparing for 3 months and immersed in the joy of not being touched by Zhou Hao, the dog, would feel that going out is not good if he ran into Zhou Hao, the plague god, as soon as he started up. If only Zhou Hao hadn't come to this startup banquet. I wouldn't be so frustrated. During the 3 months of childlike training, I haven't seen him come to explore the class. Did you know he came after a big meal? I really can't change the habit of eating soft meals, can I? Lin Xiangxiang frowned and turned his head to look at Zhou Hao with a gloomy expression, then closed his mask. It's just that, after the last dish is served, I run away. In the long wait, the last dish finally arrived. Putting the heavyweight Buddha jumps over the wall on the table, Lin Xiangxiang stepped back and said in a camouflaged voice, "Your dishes are ready. I wish you a happy meal." After the incident, Lin Xiangxiang brushed off his clothes and hid his achievements and fame. He was overjoyed and quickly turned around to prepare to run away. Goodbye, sleeping trough. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Ex-Girlfriend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Ex-Girlfriend. Before he even started feeling proud, he turned around too quickly and collided with Zhou Hao, who had stood up and walked in circles to toast. The force was so strong that Lin Xiangxiang tightly covered his unconscious nose, taking a cold breath in pain and feeling a warm breath. With a cry of surprise, the wine in Zhou Hao's hand shook violently and poured all of it onto his expensive suit. His face instantly darkened. Childlike innocence suddenly stood up and silently looked over, with a deep and dim expression in her eyes. Just now, Lin Xiangxiang instinctively reached out in a panic and grabbed Zhou Hao's arm, stabilizing his figure. After 3 consecutive moans, he immediately let go, feeling unlucky. Isn't this the best hotel? Why is a waiter so careless? The childlike tone instantly cooled down, and Lin Xiangxiang quickly lowered his head, constantly bowing and apologizing, while taking out the towel from his apron and stuffing it into Zhou Hao's hand. "I'm sorry, could you please wipe it off?" Lin Xiangxiang finished stuffing the towel and ran away. "Stop." Zhou Hao saw that she dared to run, with deep and unpredictable pupils hidden under her black hair, as if suppressing a huge anger. "As I was about to leave this Shura field, I suddenly felt my throat tighten and my body uncontrollably tilted back, taking several steps back before finally standing firm. Damn Zhou Hao," he reached out and grabbed the back collar of her work uniform, pulling her back. The small incident here caught everyone's attention, and Lin Xiangxiang tried to tilt his head to avoid Zhou Hao's squinting eyes, which were filled with dangerous scrutiny. "Want to run?" These 2 words were squeezed out between his teeth. "Don't be angry, I didn't mean to. I'll go get you a new set of clothes." Lin Xiangxiang awkwardly accompanied a smile. She's not afraid of him, she just thinks it's better to do less than to do more. At present, she only wants to retreat, just give up on the bet, and she doesn't want to involve Zhou Hao, the plague god, anymore. Grasping tightly at his collar, wanting to save the back collar from his hands, the 2 secretly struggled, and Zhou Hao's tone changed. "Your voice. Danger." Upon hearing these words, Lin Xiangxiang's heart pounded with excitement. He was momentarily nervous and forgot to disguise himself. Shouldn't he have been so unlucky? Did he just recognize it? Zhou Hao rudely lifted her up in front of him and locked her down from a high position. His eyes were full of mockery, and Lin Xiangxiang confirmed that he recognized her. Without considering so much, Lin Xiangxiang struggled frantically, his tone carrying a strong warning. "Let go of me." The dangerous aura approached, and Zhou Hao extended his hand and took off the mask from her face. The moment I saw her face clearly, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "It's really you," Zhou Hao smiled with a meaningful smile, because at this moment, Lin Xiangxiang was still facing away from everyone, which immediately aroused their curiosity. "It's okay, it's an acquaintance. Guess who it is?" Zhou Hao faced the crowd, and this ambiguous sentence instantly aroused everyone's curiosity. His childlike innocence puzzled him. What acquaintances could he meet here? A waiter, not to mention an acquaintance, would treat her as a stranger even if she were her own mother. Looking at Zhou Hao's playful smile on his face, Tong Xian understood that 9 out of 10 he was an illegitimate child, and he deliberately crawled into Zhou Hao's arms. How could he possibly be an ordinary waiter? Who is that? Someone immediately answered, while others joked, what acquaintance is more familiar than Tong Xian Jia? As Zhou Hao grabbed her hand and didn't intend to let go, his childlike innocence grew jealous and he stomped his feet in anger, acting coquettishly towards Zhou Hao. What nonsense! The most familiar one, of course, is me, isn't it, brother Hao? Zhou Hao is very useful for playing coquettish with childlike innocence. Lin Xiangxiang was still struggling, and the door was within reach. She watched helplessly as her fellow group members tried to please her by closing the door, fearing that she would run away and lose sight. Zhou Hao was very satisfied and gave a well-done look. He promised that Lin Xiangxiang wouldn't run away, so he loosened her collar. Opening his hand, childlike innocence pounced into his arms, arrogantly proclaiming sovereignty and scattering a large amount of dog food with kindness and love. Lin Xiangxiang's mouth twitched slightly, and she cursed, shift, in secret. She accepted her fate and took a deep breath before slowly tidying up her collar. Zhou Hao, you hit the gun barrel yourself. At this moment, she realized that she had just hit too hard and had nosebleeds. Since we're starting to break our heads, we can't just lose the upper hand in terms of momentum, can we? I wiped my sleeves a few times, but I'm not sure if they're clean. This acquaintance is different from my childhood sweetheart, Zhou Hao said, teasing everyone with his excitement. Listening to the obvious ambiguity in Zhou Hao's tone, gossiping enthusiasts began to guess how different this was. Before Lin Xiangxiang could tidy up, Zhou Hao rudely grabbed one of her arms and forced her to turn around to face the crowd. Facing the camera, Zhou Hao's tone suddenly rose and he said, Lin Xiangxiang, my ex-girlfriend. What? The atmosphere at the scene instantly quieted down, and Lin Xiangxiang looked up and met dozens of pairs of eyes that flickered with strange light. Doubts, eating melons, resentment, everything is there. The childlike cold eyes were filled with a murderous aura, and the gaze towards her seemed to devour her alive, with a hint of ferocity. Why didn't she know that Zhou Hao had an unidentified and undocumented waitress ex-girlfriend? Who is she? Zhou Hao's ex-girlfriend. Can't she? He looks very average. What's the reason for it? Hurry up. 1 minute, I need all the information about this woman. At this moment, the camera was all aimed at her with a swish, and Lin Xiangxiang instantly took over all her gaze. Tong Xian's face completely darkened. It's ridiculous to say that she has been playing tricks for so many years, and she has never had so many cameras pointing at her at the same time. Someone present quickly recognized him and said, isn't this the new dragon trap in our group? Our group? You're not mistaken, are you? Why are you serving dishes here? This work uniform fits quite well, but it's strange there's also a place for a dragon suit at the opening banquet. Shouldn't it be that wild boars can't eat fine bran, so they dare not come, right? What's going on? This green dragon swimming crab is something you can't even afford to carry a plate for a lifetime. Why can't you bear it? These two sentences made the other manipulators present look embarrassed, but people naturally feel superior when they guide others, so Lin Xiangxiang also received their superior scrutiny. Oh, I know now, because the goddess of childlike innocence has officially announced. Speaking of this, everyone silently agreed, realizing that they were feeling inferior. The current ex-boyfriend crushed her directly into the dust, afraid of embarrassing herself. Lin Xiangxiang blinked his innocent big eyes and pretended not to hear everyone's arrangement, saying, Hauga, if I were really your ex-girlfriend, the ancestral tomb would be emitting smoke. He was angry and emitting smoke. Really? Not admitting. Zhou Hao guessed that she wouldn't admit it and didn't feel surprised. He gave a cold smile and took out his phone to dial out a number. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Tomb head grass 2 meters high. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 3 Tomb head grass 2 meters high. Before Lin Xiangxiang could understand his intention, the phone in his pocket rang. Before he could see who was calling, it was snatched away by Zhou Hao, who strode forward. What are you doing? Lin Xiangxiang got angry and reached out to grab it. Zhou Hao withdrew his hand and Lin Xiangxiang pounced in the air. He actually aimed her phone screen at the camera, which instantly ignited Lin Xiangxiang's heart. The reporters on site quickly focused and eagerly aimed at the phone screen, not wanting to miss this amazing moment. At the moment when they saw the notes clearly, the reporters were first stunned, and then they all looked strange, as if holding back their smiles. Zhou Hao ignored it and even laughed wildly. Look at how much my ex-girlfriend can't forget about me. Turning the phone screen back, the smile on his face froze when he saw the note. This is the note given to him by Lin Xiangxiang. Lin Xiangxiang strode forward and grabbed his phone, shouting at Zhou Hao, without the consent of others, exposing their privacy is shameless. Hanging up the phone, Lin Xiangxiang lifted his eyes and met his somewhat shocked face without fear. The women Zhou Hao met were always considerate, gentle and obedient. Even though it was by Fumei's childlike innocence, which was criticized by the entire internet as the most difficult to pursue, he had never seen such a powerful girl in just a week. I have always been accustomed to using rhythm and manipulating traffic to achieve the goal of black and red. At this moment, being pointed and scolded by someone who is running around, he naturally can't hold back his face. Lin Xiangxiang didn't expect to start spreading rumors just to save face. Lin Xiangxiang, I can't believe the neighboring crew doesn't want you. You're not willing to give up. How could you even chase me to a fairy tale drama just to pester me? Don't expect your persistence to impress me. Compared to childlike innocence, you are simply not on the stage. The reporters' gossiping eyes lit up in unison, holding small notebooks and waving their hands to write down today's headline. Lin Xiangxiang felt like he had eaten a fly on his face. Zhou Hao compared Lin Xiangxiang to Tong Xian, and Tong Xian's face also looked ugly. Perhaps watching Lin Xiangxiang not refute, his expression became increasingly ugly, and he thought he had grasped her. So he continued to spread rumors and said, I advise you not to have any illusions about me. I won't change my mind. Even if you do it 800 times, I won't take a liking to you. Lin Xiangxiang smiled. She had never described a man as both a Puxin man and a subordinate man. Zhou Hao was so disgusted that his mother opened the door to disgust. He ignored any occasion and pointed at Zhou Hao and got angry. Have you finished speaking? Is it my turn now? Zhou Hao's expression stiffened, and Lin Xiangxiang's vermilion lips lifted lightly, speaking slowly. Yeah, how could I forget it? Every time I hear someone playing the Suona and the funeral home opens, I think it's you who died. What's wrong? I can't eat the previous 8 servings of soft rice anymore, so I just thought I had no worries after finding a new long-term meal ticket. As soon as these words were spoken, a hint of panic flashed in Zhou Hao's eyes. He received Lin Xiangxiang's meaningful gaze, and his childlike heart couldn't help but feel uneasy. It is well known that Zhou Hao has a promiscuous private life, but the revelation of his ex-girlfriend, whom Zhou Hao personally admitted to, is another matter. You. Zhou Hao was confused and couldn't hold his expression, forcing his face to stand up. Don't love me so much, just slander me recklessly. Defamation. Am I not one of your ex-girlfriends? Lin Xiangxiang looked innocent and took the delicate little white flower to the extreme. Are you admitting this? Zhou Hao quickly got angry again, admitting that you have been bothering me and sticking to me instead. Lin Xiangxiang sneered and didn't care, so that's how you promote your ex-girlfriend outside, including Anne. Annie is amazing. Lin Xiangxiang dug up the big melon that was once fooled by Zhou Hao, and the reporters were all human spirits. How could they not discover the connection? Is it a young daughter of the Li group? I heard we talked about a younger brother who was cheated of money and sex, isn't it Zhou Hao? Hey, when you say that, I remember. Didn't someone like Hammer live with N and Zhou Hao in Sanya for 3 days and 2 nights before? The reporters started whispering and immediately pointed their fingers at Tong Xian. Miss Tong, what do you think of this matter? Zhou Hao's private life is not well behaved, as everyone can see. Miss Tong's choice of life partner may be too casual. Sharp questions kept coming one after another, and the reporters grinned their lips to the bottom of their ears. Excuse me, Miss Lin, are everything you're saying true? What's wrong with Zhou Hao eating soft rice from 8 girls? Does it include you and Annie? Yes, Miss Lin, please speak carefully. Does Miss Lin, as a senior, have any experience in instructing Miss Tong, as both her predecessor and current colleague are on the same stage? Lin Xiangxiang was very satisfied with the news of these press conferences, and he would not stop until he heard some rumors and did not dig out the coffins. The resentment in Tong Xian's eyes has been enough for her to die 800 times. In this situation, if she dares to share any experience, she may have been torn apart by Tong Xian on the spot. Lin Xiangxiang, Zhou Hao, and Tong Xian were surrounded tightly, and even a microphone could be directly inserted into their mouth. Zhou Hao panicked and spoke recklessly, pointing at Lin Xiangxiang and cursing, "Nonsense. Do you believe I'll find someone to kill you? I'm so scared." Lin Xiangxiang blinked her big eyes and looked at her with extreme grievances. You. It's really ridiculous. I'm afraid you're here to ride on my brother Hao's popularity, right? Tong Xian interrupted Zhou Hao with a disdainful tone that caught the eye. Brother Hao is so excellent, it's inevitable that there will be many admirers, and I'm used to it. What? As soon as Tong Xian spoke, she instantly broke all the filters that Lin Xiangxiang had for her. Lin Xiangxiang's mind is full of question marks, rubbing against the heat. Rubbing against your Zhou Hao's popularity. Sorry, she's really not interested. The atmosphere has been pushed to the forefront of the storm, and Zhou Hao needs to spend some time proving his innocence. Lin Xiangxiang agreed to withdraw as soon as he saw the improvement. Just as I was thinking about what to do, the savior who shared the focus came. A luxurious supercar stopped in front of the hotel door. As soon as the car door opened, its slender long legs collapsed and it lifted its feet to approach the 7-star hotel. He is at least 1.8 meters tall, wearing a loose black shirt that doesn't conceal his perfect figure. The linen color of hair is so beautiful that it is breathtaking. He has a touch of beauty in his delicate features, and a touch of gentleness in his handsomeness. The temperament emanating from him is very complex, and he also has his own unique ethereal and unrestrained, just like a little wolf dog with a scent of a milk dog. The beautiful peach blossom eyes had a hint of melancholy and were like a spring breeze, portraying the late male lead actor Zhou Yan. As soon as the door opened, surprisingly, someone had already become the focus. What happened? Zhou Yan asked calmly, seeing that the situation was not right, with a deep and beautiful voice. Lin Xiangxiang, who was surrounded by reporters, saw him coming and his eyes immediately lit up. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Hi Idols. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Hi Idols. No, Sister Tongxin. Lin Xiangxiang looked innocent. I came purely to worship Zhou Yan and to gain his popularity. Lin Xiangxiang's eyebrows and eyes curved with a smile, and he greeted Zhou Yan with a bewildered expression at the door. Hi idol, I love you. Zhou Yan was puzzled, and he was certain that he didn't know this seemingly friendly girl. Reporters who looked like hungry wolves turned around, their eyes flickering with gossip, staring straight at him with a thump in their hearts. Although he didn't know what had happened, the sixth sense told him that something was not going well, so he turned around and ran away. Don't run. Stop. A handsome appearance, a brief pause, and an embarrassed escape. Zhou Yan believed that he had never encountered any opponents in the 5,000-meter long run, but this time, he almost never ran past the photographers carrying cameras. After being stirred up by Lin Xiangxiang, who is still interested in continuing to eat this opening banquet. Watching everyone chasing Zhou Yan away, he left the 7-star hotel in a grand manner. Lin Xiangxiang is in a good mood, and Zhou Yan's arrival was really timely. Seeing that the besieged journalists had all followed Zhou Yan, she also wanted to take the opportunity to sneak away. Just as she turned around, Tong Xian blocked her way and said, "Lin Xiangxiang. Tongxin, do you have any further questions?" Lin Xiangxiang swept away the previous strange energy and stood obediently at attention to the top-flowing goddess, waiting for her next words. "I warn you, stay away from Zhou Hao and don't expect to appear in front of him and catch his attention." Tong Xian coldly threw down this sentence, then stood tall and stepped on the 15-centimeter high ground of hatred, took Zhou Hao's arm, and strode away. Lin Xiangxiang didn't understand her meaning for a moment, and then he was speechless. She doesn't really care about Zhou Hao at all, okay? It was clearly him who licked his face and came up to look for scolding. Zhou Hao's gossip once again dominated the headlines, with a faint tendency to surpass Zhou Yan. #shocking. Country name. God of Plague soft rice hard to eat, 8 servings at a time. #shocking. The wealthy encounter the plague god, and the national sea king fish pond is bombed. #danger. The male god Zhou Yan is being targeted by the ex-girlfriend of the national plague god. Lin Xiangxiang was stripped of her early vest by human flesh, and her 3 years of running a dragon suit have not been popular. Unexpectedly, thanks to Zhou Hao's blessing, she has also turned black and red. With the addition of the stone hammer of the wealthy Tuan'er, Zhou Hao's image of being a soft and hard eater stabilized and completely collapsed the house. This matter has a significant impact, and the entire Xianxia team spent the night discussing a response plan. Has childlike innocence gone crazy? Zhou Hao collapsed and still hasn't drawn a clear line with him. No way. Continuing to shoot this drama will definitely ruin it. Change the female lead. Immortal Xia Chuan said, Director Zhang was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. Who can handle this sudden change of female lead? The screenwriter was also impatient, but couldn't let his hard work go to waste. Not to mention our budget is not enough, the most popular celebrity right now is childlike innocence. If someone else suddenly changes, they won't have a schedule anymore. If you can't be popular, just invite a new person over. Director Zhang was also calculating who to look for when the screenwriter suddenly remembered someone. Director Zhang, do you think that dragon suit will work? Which dragon suit? That's the one with 8 portions of soft rice. The screenwriter couldn't remember Lin Xiangxiang's name for a moment, but when he said 8 portions of soft rice, Director Zhang knew who it was. I heard she belongs to our group. Why don't I remember? Your eyes are all welded on the childlike innocence, how can you pay attention to a trick? The screenwriter roast, I know that girl Rufin very well, and she is very professional. There used to be a scene where the female lead fell into the water on the neighboring crew. Because the female lead disliked the dirty water and insisted on changing to mineral water, she did a stunt double to avoid delaying the progress. After careful consideration, Director Zhang came to the conclusion, it's not impossible, but don't forget that she's also on hot search. Hi, what's the big deal? Isn't it just about chasing celebrities? As long as the male lead Zhou Yan doesn't mind, everything is easy to say. In order to start up the game as soon as possible, the screenwriter directly contacted Zhou Yan. Originally, she had chosen someone who was indifferent to the female protagonist. When she heard that Lin Xiangxiang was a hot topic on social media, she looked a bit solemn. Lin Xiangxiang. That's the one who said he wanted to ride on my popularity, causing me to be chased for 8 streets. Ah. Yes, if you think it's not possible, just her. Zhou Yan hung up the phone with a snap, coldly looking at the hot search on the screen and the line from Lin Xiangxiang in the video, Hi idol, love you. Use him as a knife. He wants to see what this guy is up to. Lin Xiangxiang, a small star on the 108th production line, heard that she ran through more than 30 production teams before getting the dragon suit in the Xianxia drama. Agent in Qinyu looked at the information in her hand and then handed it to Zhou Yan. What are you doing with this scumbag? What else can we do? Zhou Yan couldn't help but chuckle. It's rare to have a black powder leader, can't we just give it up? Well, Anqing Pomelo is speechless. Lin Xiangxiang has very little information. After all, there are no representative works, and he is also a member of some palace maids and eunuchs. Is that all? Zhou Yan glanced at him, obviously feeling that there shouldn't be so little, and casually placed the materials on the table. And Qinyu thought for a moment and chuckled, do you still have height, weight, and measurements? After a brief silence, Qinyu stopped teasing him and solemnly spoke up about the hot topic. Do you need to withdraw a bit? It's not good for you. He was referring to the hot search where Zhou Yan was targeted by Zhou Hao's ex-girlfriend. No, I'll handle it, Zhou Yan said as he opened his phone and clicked on Weibo. He has always been steady, and Qinyu didn't take it to heart. Unexpectedly, Zhou Yan's actions next scared half of his life. Although Lin Xiangxiang's social account has not been posted yet, the information provided by Qinyu just now shows Xiang with the ID Xiangxiang. Zhou Yan searched for friends and quickly locked in Lin Xiangxiang, who had a funny little yellow face avatar. He tapped his fingertips and paid attention. What are you doing? Qinyu was frightened and quickly stepped forward. Just as he was about to snatch his phone, he calmly clicked to cancel. What? Qinyu thought it was like this, but to his surprise, Zhou Yan repeated this operation dozens of times. Just when he didn't understand his intention, Lin Xiangxiang's hair sent a message. Xiangxiang. Idle, you're quite childish. You've recorded the screen, think about how to bribe me. Otherwise, I'll make you headlines. Sleeping in a slot, playing too much. Zhou Yan was just a small joke. As long as he followed her, her fan count would increase by 1, and if she cancelled, it would decrease by 1. Follow, and cancel again, her side is +1.1, +1.1, +1.1. She wanted to take advantage of his popularity, so he retaliated a little bit. After all, his following list only had 3 people, and suddenly there was one more following. Lin Xiangxiang was inevitably subjected to the influence of the entire network. He didn't believe it, she saw her attention and would remain so calm. She would definitely regret talking nonsense in front of the reporter, and then obediently clarified on her own. I didn't expect Lin Xiangxiang to be quite tough, threatening him with +1 or 0.1. Okay, you're not afraid. Zhou Yan remembers her now. Fingers danced rapidly on the screen, sending out a private message. Zhou Yan. Welcome to join the Xianxia drama group. Have a pleasant cooperation, big female lead. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Ultimate Roommates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Ultimate Roommates. What's the big female lead? Lin Xiangxiang on the other end of the phone looked confused and slowly tapped a question mark. After waiting for a while, seeing that there was no movement for a long time, Lin Xiangxiang was dissatisfied. What happened to this person? Speak halfway. What she didn't know was that Zhou Yan didn't reply again because his agent was afraid of him causing trouble and took away his phone. The limelight of the opening banquet cannot pass for a while. Lin Xiangxiang is still a freshman student in school, and playing the role of a dragon suit is her part-time job. This incident has made her a prominent figure in the whole school. Just as she was about to go out with her bag on her back, her top-notch roommates came back, each holding a 3-digit cup of coffee. Oh, isn't this the big star? Lin Xiangxiang is Fu Siyu, the wealthy second-generation who runs a business at home and has some small money. Yeah, I don't know how I got into the Xianxia group, isn't it an unwritten rule? This is Fu Siyu's henchman, Yang Qingmei. Just changed to a new set. That's really cheap. Fu Siyu's disgust in her eyes was not concealed, as if she had seen something dirty. Yang Qingmei agreed, Siyu, it's already a compliment to replace this item with a dragon suit. Lin Xiangxiang gave a cold smile. Of course, she knew why Fu Siyu was so malicious towards her, because Tong Xian was her cousin, and she herself was also very fond of Tong Xian and Zhou Yan's CP. Yang Qingmei, on the other hand, was a loyal fan of Zhou Yan. Seeing that Lin Xiangxiang did not refute, Yang Qingmei took even more advantage and said, it's really shameless. With you alone, how dare you think about Zhou Yan? I don't know how many hands of rotten shoes there are. Don't think that joining a group can bring you close to the water and the tower. I'll call my cousin now and ask you to get out of the Xianxia group. After Fu Siyu finished speaking, she took out her phone, with a towering appearance, obviously waiting for Lin Xiangxiang to beg for mercy. You go ahead, I don't want to go anyway. She immediately responded to the thought that Zhou Hao's bad luck might make him visit every day in the future. At best, she can run another 30 production teams. Acting is just her dream, and she doesn't rely on acting to make a living. You're quite knowledgeable about current affairs, Fu Siyu sneered coldly, assuming that Lin Xiangxiang was afraid of her. I tell you, even if my cousin and Zhou Hao are together, Zhou Yan is not something you can think of, after all. In Zhou Yan's heart, only my cousin. Bored. Lin Xiangxiang was too lazy to bother with her, just a clown jumping off a beam. She doesn't pursue celebrities, calling her Zhou Yan idol is purely to divert the flames of war. If she really wants to pursue someone, Zhou Yan is definitely the first choice. After all, Zhou Yan has been in the industry for many years, and apart from netizens knocking on his and Tong Xian's CP, there have been no other rumors. Make way, don't stop me from carrying the dishes. Lin Xiangxiang squeezed the two of them apart, carrying backpacks and going out, obviously not going to the hotel. Fu Siyu looked up and down and said, should we go pick up the dishes or warm up the bed for some bald man? Are you afraid that in 100 years, someone will dig up your ashes to make lotus root powder when you speak so annoying? Lin Xiangxiang lazily retorted. Fu Siyu trembled with anger and squeezed the coffee in her hand, saying, Lin Xiangxiang. It's so noisy. Lin Xiangxiang was too lazy to talk to her, bumped open her shoulder, and strode away. Fu Siyu glared angrily at the back of Lin Xiangxiang's departure, roared, and then smashed a full cup of coffee onto Lin Xiangxiang's desk. Coffee splashed open and scattered all over the table. The notebook on the table flashed twice, declaring death. The unique aroma instantly filled the entire room. Fu Siyu's chest kept heaving with anger, and Yang Qingmei couldn't bear to throw it away. She had never tasted such expensive coffee before, so she carefully hid it on her side, afraid that Fu Siyu would snatch her too. Fu Siyu temporarily ignored Yang Qingmei and angrily dialed out a number. She sat down at her desk, waiting to be connected. Seeing her busy with her own affairs, Yang Qingmei quickly took a few sips of coffee, causing her not-so-delicate little face to pinch together. Hello, cousin. Fu Siyu answered the phone and couldn't wait to start reporting. I heard that Lin Xiangxiang is from your group. Let her go. I don't need you to tell me, I know that I dare to think about my Hauga for anything. Her childlike innocence swept through the image of a lady online, and at this moment, she was just a jealous woman. Fu Siyu was in a good mood and chattered a few more words before reluctantly hanging up the phone. Yang Qingmei saw her face turn around and quickly placed the coffee in her hand on her table, blocking it with a book. Her tongue kept licking the coffee stains at the corner of her mouth. Isn't it just a cup of coffee? Look at your unremarkable appearance, it seems like you've never had it before. Fu Siyu rolled her eyes, her worst thing is money. A cheap cup of coffee, even Yankingmai, is so precious, it's simply unremarkable. Yang Qingmei, who was mentioned by her, was already full of embarrassment. Her family was not well off, and even if she spent 10 yuan to buy a cake, she would hesitate for a long time. She really had never tasted such a good drink before. Although it tasted bitter at the beginning, now the aftertaste is full of lingering fragrance. It's not that she hasn't tasted it before, she's just a bit thirsty. Young Qingmei kept swallowing her saliva, her fingers constantly rubbing against her clothes. Ha! Fu Siyu sneered, without concealing her superior demeanor, come on, I buy low-quality cosmetics for 9.9 yuan. Would coffee be so expensive? This cup will cover half a month's living expenses for you. How much money can you make in your lifetime as a bumpkin? Your whole family can't afford to buy a toilet in my house after working for 100 years. What's the point of installing it? Yang Qingmei's face instantly froze, and a fierce aura flashed through her eyes, causing her anger to boil. I've really had it before. She wanted to defend herself, but Fu Siyu didn't have the mood to argue with her about it. She didn't think she could afford it at all, so she sneered and walked ahead with her hands clasped around her chest, swinging a head of shiny hair. Young Qingmei lowered her head and hid her expression under the thick and rustic bangs, her eyes churning with darkness, her face twisted, and her heart filled with resentment. She thought with hatred, sooner or later, she wouldn't be angry anymore. Seeing young Qingmei not keeping up, Fu Siyu suddenly became impatient and said, "What are you doing in a daze? You're not leaving yet. You don't want to eat Emperor Crab anymore." The 3 words, Emperor Crab, instantly pierced young Qingmei's heart, suppressing all the darkness on her face, raising a pleasing smile and running after her. "Is Siyu treating you?" The hungry wolf-like light in her eyes couldn't be concealed. "Look at your unremarkable appearance," Fu Siyu frowned with disdain in her eyes. If it weren't for the school not allowing her to bring bodyguards and nannies, she wouldn't have looked down on this poor-looking young Qingmei. In the dormitory, I can help her wash clothes, and I can also run errands, buy food, and receive express delivery. A cup of coffee worth around 100 yuan, as if bestowed by heaven, is indeed a country bumpkin who has never seen the world before. The streets were bustling with cars and horses, and Lin Xiangxiang, who had come out of the dormitory, was waiting by the roadside. In no time, Director Zhang from the Immortal Heroes group called. "What? Childlike innocence no longer plays, want me to play the lead role? Why?" Lin Xiangxiang was extremely puzzled. She has self-awareness and knows that she doesn't have the ability to handle the female lead. Even if her childlike innocence stops, it won't be her turn. Why would Director Zhang come to her for a trick? End of this chapter. Chapter 6. The dog that has been slapped twice becomes fire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. The dog that has been slapped twice becomes fire. To be honest, Zhang, the director over there, had no intention of revealing that this matter was related to Zhou Yan. The primary purpose was to deceive people into signing the contract first. Xiang. Do you know that the budget is not enough? With Zhou Yan in charge, even if the female lead invites a pig, it can cause a big fire. Lin Xiangxiang was about to ask, why not invite a pig? Moreover, with so many girls in the group and so many replacement girls like the second, third, and fourth, it's impossible for her to play the same trick. If something goes wrong, there will always be demons. Director Zhang, I can't carry this big flag. You better find someone else. I may not go to the Xianxia group either. Although Lin Xiangxiang couldn't bear to part with it, there were also signs of black and red in this hot search, and she didn't want to implicate the entire crew. Whether it's the script or costumes and props of the Xianxia group, they are the best she has ever seen since she made so many cameo appearances. She has a premonition that Sword talks about Xianxia will definitely go viral. Don't refuse so decisively, I've seen it and you're very suitable. Director Zhang didn't actually have a suitable hostess to choose, thinking of making do with it. But with the recommendation of the screenwriter, after watching the video of Lin Xiangxiang once running a stunt and doing stunt doubles for others, the female lead in my mind instantly took on a new look. A slender figure, a cold yet approachable face, a flowing gauze skirt, dancing swords in the moonlight, and galloping horses in the forest, all of these are not a problem for Lin Xiangxiang. Lin Xiangxiang's martial arts skills and stamina will never slow down the progress. That pair of peach blossom eyes are naturally agile and clear, with a natural acting style, let alone Lin Xiangxiang, who now carries some popularity. Xiangxiang, come and give it a try. Besides, isn't your idol Zhou Yan? This is an opportunity for a big fire. Director Zhang was gentle and persuasive, but Lin Xiangxiang didn't care about these things. What she cared about was the last sentence. I know you enjoy acting, but now that you have offended Zhou Hao and Tong Xian and left our Xianxia group, no other crew dares to take you. Xiangxiang, you know, I cherish my talent the most. Director Zhang is telling the truth. He has made many big shots popular, and those who left his crew have directly occupied half of the entertainment industry. In his previous play, Immortal and Demon Order, even the dog that was slapped twice by an enemy came to seek revenge. At that time, the barrage was full of fighting for the dog. Dog. Didn't anyone say a few words to me? Dog. Bark, bark, bark. Lin Xiangxiang knew that she had indeed left the Xianxia group. With a casual touch of childlike innocence, she would never have a chance to join the group again. Let me give it a try. All right. Director Zhang's satisfied lips grinned to the bottom of his ear. Can you come to the group now? Let's modify the contract. Okay, Lin Xiangxiang happily agreed, and coincidentally, her rich woman and best friend arrived. A red Bugatti parked in front of her. Baby, get on the car quickly. The window in the back of the car lowered, and Lin Xiangxiang smiled and said hello before politely sitting in. The person who came was exactly Anne, the wealthy daughter of the Li family, and Li Yunru, whom she had previously mentioned. Lin Xiangxiang comes from a good family, but compared to Fu Siyu and Annie, he is a bit lacking in skills. Both of them got to know each other because of Zhou Hao. Annie anonymously posted a post on the confession wall asking how to distinguish whether her boyfriend is a scumbag. At that time, after reading her description, Lin Xiangxiang felt that he didn't know whether he was a scumbag or a scumbag, but it was said that he was a soft guy. Where is it that during a romantic relationship, all expenses are borne by the woman? Do you still ask your girlfriend for red envelopes during holidays and festivals? Why don't you eat? Not at all obedient, fine 2,000, immediately transferred to me, such words can be said. On Valentine's Day, a man with a soft meal actually gave wholesale heart-shaped stones. On the same day, 7 girls posted pictures on Weibo, but were discovered by sharp-eyed netizens who made color palettes. On a certain evening, I searched and found out that it only cost 9.9 yuan. Also included in the picture is a Valentine's Day gift for my girlfriend, who was moved to tears. At that time, Zhou Hao was just a third-tier actor, relying on these 7 soft meals and frequently bringing in funds to join the group, which slowly helped him establish a foothold in the entertainment industry. After He Hong, Zhou Hao still chooses not to make it public. Does he dare to do so? 7 portions of soft rice, they are the same style as soon as they are made public. So Lin Xiangxiang suggested finding someone to try it out. It's possible that the heart-shaped stone was just a coincidence. After all, it's not impossible for a straight man to appreciate beauty. So Anne, who dared not reveal her true identity, secretly added Lin Xiangxiang's WeChat and requested that Lin Xiangxiang step forward to help her test whether her boyfriend really steps on a few boats. Based on the idea of girl help girl, Lin Xiangxiang did not refuse. It was very smooth to add Zhou Hao's WeChat account. After she expressed several times that she was not short of money, Zhou Hao began to pursue Lin Xiangxiang fiercely and swore that he was single from both mother and child. The test yielded results. Lin Xiangxiang originally wanted to expose it, but Annie said it was not urgent and collected some more evidence. She simply used Lin Xiangxiang's account to chat with Zhou Hao for a period of time. The 2-meter-tall grass on the grave was also a note that Anne changed. Seeing Anne's childish behavior, she just smiled helplessly and let her do it. Until I contacted several other soft meals and confirmed that the heart-shaped stone was a gift from Zhou Hao, a few girlfriends asked Lin Xiangxiang to arrange a meeting with Zhou Hao's noodle base. Upon hearing that the date was in the hotel, Zhou Hao dressed up in a coquettish manner and arrived at the Shura field where 8 girlfriends gathered to greet him. Zhou Hao knelt down in fear on the spot, crying with a runny nose and tears, slapping himself hard, cursing that he was not human, and pleading with several girls to let him go. This bitter meat trick was very successful, and then said she would go back to the bridge and back to the road, gathering and dispersing well. Zhou Hao broke her heart deeply, causing Anne to become indifferent to love now. Any man who shows kindness is labeled as malicious by her, accompanying him in the act and never giving his heart again. Zhou Hao, who was exposed, lost 7 wealthy women for a while. He began to investigate what was going on, but Anne's confidentiality work was excellent and he was nowhere to be found. But he discovered that only Lin Xiangxiang was not a wealthy woman among the 8 girlfriends. Since then, he has held a grudge against her. When he recognized her at the hotel, he couldn't wait to embarrass her. 8 portions of soft rice joined the group and said they would contact each other frequently when they had free time, but Lin Xiangxiang only contacted Anne frequently. Let me tell you, I really like that little milk dog so much. He's a big sister and I really want to take him down hard. And now has some scumbag potential in her. Don't be too extravagant with young men. Oh, I know. I told him I didn't want to fall in love, I'll help you see. Annie smiled sincerely at Lin Xiangxiang, as if inviting credit. Come on, I don't have a dog, Lin Xiangxiang said while scrolling through the trending news and reporting the address to the driver. I need to go to the production team first, and then ride a horse with you when I come back. It's a small matter, Annie said there was no problem, so she accompanied Lin Xiangxiang to the Xianxia drama group. In order to prevent people from spreading rumors, such as Lin Xiangxiang bringing funds to join the group and becoming a wealthy tycoon, I have never asked Anne to help me with my own acting. The public didn't even know that Lin Xiangxiang had a friendship with Anne. This time, while riding Anne's luxury car to the production team, Lin Xiangxiang only allowed her to stop at a 100-meter intersection. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Replace it, otherwise I won't shoot it anymore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Replace it, otherwise I won't shoot it anymore. Just arrived at the production team, director Zhang has been waiting for a long time. Xiangxiang, come on, come on. Director Zhang warmly welcomed Lin Xiangxiang into the VIP lounge. If something goes wrong, there must be a demon. Lin Xiangxiang looked alert, thinking of everything that could have caused Director Zhang to change his face during this short 30-second journey. It shouldn't be because of Zhou Hao. Did Annie take action? No, she will go and ask later. Let's take a look at Xiangxiang. If there's no problem, let's sign the contract. Director Zhang was in a hurry to appoint someone, even without an audition or makeup appointment, so he arranged to sign the contract directly. Lin Xiangxiang pursed her lips tightly and looked at Director Zhang with a skeptical attitude. Zhang's smile remained a bit stiff as she didn't even accept the contract he handed over. She looked up at Lin Xiangxiang's scrutinizing gaze, which made Zhang feel a bit embarrassed. It was only then that she realized she was too anxious. She withdrew her hand, suppressed her joy, and spoke calmly, "Do Miss Lin have anything to ask about this cooperation? Why did you choose me?" Lin Xiangxiang got straight to the point. You know, I have an average appearance and a mediocre popularity, so obviously I'm not the best candidate for a female lead. Yes, Director Zhang did not deny it, but you haven't read the script of Sword Talks About Immortal Heroes. The female lead is not a peerless beauty. Can I find someone with an average appearance? You fit the character of the female protagonist very well, because the skills of the female protagonist are just small tricks for you. Director Zhang didn't intend to hide it from her. The female protagonist is a chivalrous woman, a small family jade with a slight touch of makeup, walking the world with one horse and one sword. There are only a lot of stunt scenes among them. I have seen your stunt scenes as a stunt double, flowing smoothly, which is what I want. You can do any of them, including Weiya, horseback riding, or backflip. The key is that you know how to swim and are not afraid of dogs. Lin Xiangxiang still maintained a hint of doubt. If the script was really what he said, it seemed quite suitable for her. However, she not only lacked fame, but also had black and red signs. If it were to ruin this drama, you don't have to worry about the hot search. Director Zhang immediately saw what she was thinking and comforted her. Collaborating with idols is what many people dream of. You should know, even male fans who pursue Zhou Yanguang are ranked in France. That's right. Miss Lin, why are you still hesitating? The screenwriter saw that Lin Xiangxiang was interested and immediately took the contract from Director Zhang's hand, moving it to Lin Xiangxiang's side. Hurry up. Sign it. Once you sign it, start trying on the makeup immediately. Lin Xiangxiang hesitated for a moment and said, why don't I give it a try? By a stroke of luck, the contract was signed. At the moment of pressing the fingerprint, the golden light in Zhang's eyes instantly surged. He quickly retrieved the contract, looked at it again, and then put it in his exclusive file bag. In triplicate, Lin Xiangxiang, who had collected the contract, was taken to the female lead's exclusive dressing room. The table was covered in a dazzling array of cosmetics, using the female lead's exclusive makeup artist. Lin Xiangxiang always felt very unreal. The description of the female protagonist in the script is very simple, but seeing her pale face, if she has a sickly appearance, the misty rain and sky light still add more pallor to her face, elegant and unconventional, with an incredibly beautiful appearance, paired with a plain white gauze dress, an extremely elegant attire. The wind blows, appearing slightly thin, but also containing a hint of sadness. The misty rain moistens the green silk, and the girl slowly retracts her delicate jade hands from the rain curtain. The female protagonist can be fresh and refined without applying makeup, but the actors are definitely not good. Not to mention the camera wearing makeup, how can modern people compare to the girls in books? But Lin Xiangxiang's delicate appearance, slightly adorned with pink and daisy, changed into a bun and attire, and her overall temperament immediately changed. Taking the long sword, it was like a female protagonist possessed, and on the spot, a complex sword flower couldn't help but appear. Whose youth doesn't have a distant dream? The fiery sword tassels danced with her movements, creating beautiful curves. This scene left Director Zhang and the screenwriter stunned. Even the makeup artist stood there, unsure of how to react. After a moment, Lin Xiangxiang stopped his movements and shook the sword in his hand, feeling that it didn't feel right. Zhang Dao, is this sword 1 inch short? Lin Xiangxiang looked up and asked. Zhang Dao didn't understand this and didn't see anything wrong. Before he could speak, a cold mocking voice came from outside the door. What cat and dog are playing big names in the production team? This voice. Lin Xiangxiang is very familiar, even Director Zhang was surprised that she would come. The contract between him and Tong Xian has not been signed yet due to Tong Xian's continuous price increase. With the addition of Zhou Hao's black material, he has already given up on this female lead and clearly told her that she doesn't need to come anymore. But I didn't expect that childlike innocence still came. Tongxin, why are you here? Director Zhang tried not to be so unwelcome. He knew that Tongxin's temper was not much better than Zhou Hao's, which was the most taboo in the circle. I have to come and see if the substitute that Director Zhang found works, right? Tong Xian said as she looked up and down at Lin Xiangxiang, with a hint of surprise in her eyes. I didn't expect that Lin Xiangxiang didn't look amazing. The female lead's makeup looks quite similar in this outfit. But it's strange, a double, just look at the body shape, why are you dressed so fully? Her makeup is clearly exquisite, and her clothes are the familiar white gauze of the female lead. She didn't think too much. She straightened her proud double peaks and just spoke up to provoke her thorn, saying, Director Zhang, you're not good at picking this stunt double. It doesn't look like my figure at all, so you can't just help me directly. After showing off her figure, Tong Xian walked straight to the single sofa and lay down directly. She moved around to find the most comfortable angle, sighed contentedly, and then said, what else do you say that a sword is 1 inch short? With just a dragon trap, you can still be more professional than props. It's really funny and generous. Lin Xiangxiang dare not say if it is exactly 1 inch short, but the size is not right, she will definitely not feel wrong. Childlike innocence doesn't care, even if it's really short, what happens. She is the main female lead and wants to change to a little dragon suit. Is there any reason? As long as Director Zhang is clever, everyone knows what she means. This doesn't work, change it, otherwise I won't take the picture. Tong Xian still had that aloof and arrogant attitude, as if everything was under control. I'm afraid not, the contract has already been signed. Zhang Dao's tone was flat, and the more he looked at his childlike innocence, the more he felt that his choice was right. Childlike innocence is notoriously difficult to serve, making her the lead actress may make him never want to film again in the future. I'll compensate you as much as the penalty for breach of contract. You don't want to miss the opportunity to cooperate next time, do you? Tong Xian's delicate fingertips lightly covered her mouth and nose, and then waved in disgust, as if she had smelled something unclean. You know, I've always only been interested in young people when it comes to filming, not money. Director Zhang stood up with a negative hand and said with a serious tone. If it weren't for Boss Long recommending you to play the role of the female lead, I wouldn't have wanted to find you. Dragon Boss Long Henry is a well-known big boss in the industry and also the godfather of childlike innocence. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Compensation, I'll give it to her. Let her go. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Compensation, I'll give it to her. Let her go. Zhang never accepts backdoors, but when he was just starting his own business and had no money to eat, Long Henri treated him to a bowl of noodles and gave him encouragement to persevere and grow stronger. Not forgetting to dig a well while drinking water can be considered a way to repay his kindness, which is why we agreed to make an exception for Tong Xian. However, he was very sarcastic about this behavior from the bottom of his heart. Long Henry said, besides being a bit hot-tempered, there's nothing wrong with Tong Xian. I just want to mention it. If she doesn't meet your requirements, it's okay to replace her. He gave Tong Xian the opportunity, but Tong Xian himself spoke up and kept raising prices, delaying the signing of the contract. Before changing people, he had already asked Long Henry for his opinion. Long Henry didn't say anything for childlike innocence, just one sentence, you see what to do. What are you talking nonsense about? Tong Xian suddenly stood up, her pretty face tense to death, and all her facial features clenched together. What is the relationship between the female lead script I obtained based on my strength and Uncle Long? Tong Xian hates others attributing her strength to Henry Long, because those people always spread rumors that she trades meat for money. Long Henry has money and power, but so what? How could an old man who is over 50 years old be interested in it? I recognized him as my godfather just because I sought protection when I first entered the entertainment industry. Now she doesn't have to rely on the face of Dragon Henry at all, she's the ace herself. Director Zhang, with your attitude, I need to carefully consider our cooperation, unless this remuneration is. Then let's follow Miss Tong's instructions, Zhang said, and Tong Xian's face lit up with joy as she added, and this dragon trap must also be replaced, otherwise I won't take photos. Tong Xian looked at Lin Xiangxiang, who had been silent all along, with a face full of confidence. Zhang Dao smiled lightly and explained, what I mean is, since Miss Tong is not willing to take photos, let's let go of our cooperation. Anyway, the contract has not been signed. The smile on her childlike face had not yet faded away, and she couldn't believe what she had heard. Zhang Baiang. What do you mean? Tong Xian's face instantly darkened and she called out to Director Zhang, without my Tong Xian, who can handle the female lead of Sword Talks about Immortal Heroes. We are all ready to start, and the candidate for the female lead has not yet been determined, so you are not afraid. Miss Tong, don't worry, the contract with the female lead has already been signed. Zhang Dao originally maintained his polite demeanor. This childlike heart doesn't understand etiquette, so there's no need for him to give him a good face. Childlike innocence has been completely abandoned by him, and there will be no more opportunities for cooperation. Lin Xiangxiang also admires her childlike innocence. Director Zhang is no longer the third-rate director that everyone can be deceived by. She is not shy at all, and now she has completely offended people. Signed it down. Who is it? I want to see who has the courage to steal my childlike script. Lin Xiangxiang, who had been watching the battle for a long time, vaguely sensed the hostility in her tone, feeling a bit uneasy and regretful. Why did she not consider signing the contract too much? The pride of childlike innocence did not last long, and when faced with Zhang Dao's indifferent and not joking eyes, she suddenly remembered the person she had overlooked from the beginning. Suddenly turning his head, he stared intently at Lin Xiangxiang, who was playing with the prop long sword. He looked to the left and to the right. Can't it be? It's impossible. Isn't the female lead her? Tong Xian couldn't control her volume, and her expression suddenly became fierce. This is her rare loss of composure. That's right. Director Zhang spoke lightly, and Lin Xiangxiang took a deep breath, regretting once again that he had signed the contract. The penalty for breach of contract is 2.5 million yuan. Although her family background is not bad, having to spend 2.5 million at once is not something she can afford. What kind of thing is she? She's also worthy. Tong Xian wished she could just go up and tear apart Lin Xiangxiang's elegant face, like a delicate white flower. This slut, in order to argue with her, is willing to go against the rules. How shameless. Zhang Baiang, I'll give her the compensation, let her go. Tong Xian gritted her teeth and ordered, and Zhang's face immediately darkened. I advise you not to be disrespectful. Do I lack your childlike innocence in this drama? It's you, Zhang Baiang, who lacks my childlike innocence. Without me, you can just wait to lose everything. Zhang sneered and became completely angry. Miss Tong, please leave. Xiangxiang is going to prepare her makeup photos. She has a high self-esteem and is waiting for her own demise. Zhang Baiang swore that he will never have any interaction with childlike innocence again in this life. You. Seeing that Director Zhang was at a loss, Tong Xian finally let go of her harsh words. Zhang Baiang, wait, even if you beg me, I won't come back. After finishing speaking, Zhang Dao shook his hand and walked away while stepping on the 15-centimeter hate heaven high. He raised his voice towards her back and said, I beg you not to come back. My whole body trembled with childlike innocence, and my back stumbled and almost fell. Lin Xiangxiang watched a thrilling scene, but at this moment, his face was hesitant and he didn't know what he was thinking. Director Zhang was afraid that she would be under pressure from being scared by childlike innocence, so he comforted her softly and said, don't be afraid. Since I Zhang Baiang dares to sign you, you can boldly believe me, don't have any pressure, and film well. Ah. Director Zhang, I'm not afraid of it. Lin Xiangxiang waved her hand to show that she's not afraid, and she's not afraid either. If it's a big deal, she'll quit the entertainment industry. Anyway, she hasn't really stepped into it. Seeing that her condition was relatively stable, Director Zhang took her to the studio to take some makeup photos. Zhou Yan's schedule has to wait until the official launch before he can come to the set, so his makeup photos can only be taken at that time, so the makeup poster for Sword and Fairy has not been released yet. Lin Xiangxiang is already a professional dragon suit, so posing poses no difficulty for him. Director Zhang sat in front of the screen, laughing uncontrollably as he watched Qingtu. Lin Xiangxiang's condition was excellent and he didn't feel nervous at all. Every action flows smoothly and decisively, with a lot of skill in it. After taking a few photos, Zhang Dao's gaze was attracted by the only back photo of Lin Xiangxiang, and he stared blankly, unable to close his mouth. Lao Yang, look at this. He adjusted the back image and asked, how about announcing this makeup poster as the female lead? Ah. The screenwriter looked at it and didn't quite understand his meaning. This one doesn't even show any face, is it inappropriate? I just don't want to show my face and maintain a sense of mystery. Can you understand what I mean? The screenwriter suddenly realized and said seriously, I don't understand. Isn't Xiangxiang on the hot search recently? If it goes viral and she replaces her childlike innocence, it will definitely cause a huge uproar and even be blacklisted by childlike innocence fans on the internet. This will have a serious impact on both the filming and the mentality of Xiangxiang, so not disclosing it for now is a form of protection for Xiangxiang. After listening to it, the editor felt that it seemed reasonable, but as he watched the person still filming, both in terms of moves and posture, he spoke up and asked. Director, wouldn't Xiangxiang feel unhappy in this way? I'll discuss with her. Director Zhang waved at Lin Xiangxiang during the shoot, gesturing for her to come over. Lin Xiangxiang stopped filming, and the coldness on his face instantly disappeared without a trace. Put away the long sword and run towards Zhang Dao, holding up the hem of the skirt. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Tuan'er Takeout, anything delivered quickly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 10. I'll open a hotspot for you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. I'll open a hotspot for you. Turning her eyes, she slowly stood up and said to young Qingmei, who was still tidying up, Qingmei, do you know that there is a big star in our dormitory? Ah. Young Qingmei, who was originally immersed in the exchange of brainpower and life, held the script of the main female lead and stepped on the malicious female supporting character Fu Siyu into the dust, heard her name and her beautiful dream shattered in an instant. Ah. Who? She asked foolishly, only to understand when Fu Siyu's gaze fell on Lin Xiangxiang. Didn't she get kicked out of the crew? Young Qingmei asked. Fu Siyu smiled and walked to Lin Xiangxiang's bed. Looking up, she was still chatting on WeChat on her own. Hello Lin Xiangxiang, have you seen the trending topics on Weibo? No traffic, no viewing. Lin Xiangxiang didn't even turn her head, and Fu Siyu didn't mind her attitude, continuing to maintain a smiling face. I'll open a hot topic for you, you go take a look. Is there such a good thing? Lin Xiangxiang's eyes flashed with a hint of brilliance. Fu Siyu generously opened the hot topic, helped Lin Xiangxiang connect, and smiled as she handed her phone. Take your time. Fu Siyu sat back at young Qingmei's table with a friendly expression on her face, and continued to post on Weibo, waiting to chat with Lin Xiangxiang. Young Qingmei, who was receiving water in the bathroom, quickly took out her phone and connected it to the hotspot. Fu Siyu had also connected her before, so she knew the password. After connecting, load various video apps and cache all the dramas being followed. After finishing all of this, I put my phone back in my pocket and continued to wipe the table, clearly feeling in a good mood. And Lin Xiangxiang did not click on Weibo, but instead opened the editing app, adding all the special effects and green screens needed for self-media, including major BGMs, to the download list. Immersed in Weibo and discussing with netizens about Lin Xiangxiang, Fu Siyu turned her back to Lin Xiangxiang, afraid that she would see her uncontrollable smiling face. I secretly turned my head and saw that Lin Xiangxiang was serious, so I thought she was calculating how to counterattack and refocused her gaze on her phone, waiting for Lin Xiangxiang to appear. For a long time, there was still no movement. I couldn't help but feel puzzled. Looking back at Lin Xiangxiang, then looking back at his phone, he thought to himself, did Weibo collapse? Can't she get in because of her poor internet connection? Pulling down the phone navigation, the rapidly consuming data made Fu Xiyu dumbfounded. Lying down. She suddenly clapped the table and stood up. Yang Qingmei quickly took out her phone and disconnected her hotspot. Lin Xiangxiang downloaded the materials and smiled sweetly at Fu Xiyu, saying, "Thank you, Xiyu." Fu Xiyu looked at the text message notification and used over 200 gigabytes of data, owing over 600 yuan. She doesn't need a little money, but does this pure treat her like a fool and a big enemy? Hu TM brushes Weibo for over 200 gigabytes. Lin Xiangxiang. What did you do? Fu Xiyu's veins surged on her forehead, and her face turned white with anger. Brushing Weibo. Lin Xiangxiang turned her phone around, proving that she hadn't done anything. You opened a hot topic yourself and asked me to browse Weibo. Why can't you let go? You spend 5 minutes scrolling through Weibo and over 200 gigabytes, are you scamming ghosts? More than 200 grams wrong, she only used 50 grams. She has a clear idea of how large the memory of her materials is. Yu Guang caught a glimpse of Yang Qingmei, who was trying to reduce her presence as much as possible. She seemed to know what was going on. I don't have it. You can see the device information in the background. Did someone steal the internet? Lin Xiangxiang lay back and continued to browse Weibo without any concern, looking at how many people were cursing her. Fu Xiyu was in a fit of anger, and her face immediately turned ugly when she refused to admit it. Upon seeing this, Yang Qingmei quickly helped Fu Xiyu scold, just use it. I apologize, but Xiyu won't blame you. Everyone is roommates. Yeah, just use it now. Apologize, what a big deal. Isn't it? Lin Xiangxiang said lightly. Yang Qingmei carefully glanced at Fu Xiyu and then spoke, deliberately trying to calm things down. Forget about Xiyu, don't use it for her next time. We won't pay attention to this kind of revenge. Fu Xiyu sat back in anger and put down her harsh words, Lin Xiangxiang, I remember you. Yang Qingmei breathed a sigh of relief. Of course, she was afraid that she might check the back-end equipment. She had downloaded all the dramas she was chasing, which was enough to use her 150 gigabytes. She felt guilty. The bombing on Weibo is getting more and more intense, and Lin Xiangxiang chooses to turn a blind eye. Fu Xiyu deliberately pulled her out for a match. Just sign the contract, so let's not attract too much attention from fans for now. These people are just talking nonsense, thinking that typing the keyboard casually doesn't have to take responsibility. Once she attacks back, it will only become more and more intense. Choosing to avoid fighting, Fu Xiyu was about to jump. As expected, Fu Xiyu lost her patience and couldn't help but ask, Lin Xiangxiang, didn't you watch the hot search? I've seen it. Don't you want to express some opinions? I don't want to. Aren't you angry? Why get angry? A self-righteous clown with a rhythm. Fu Xiyu really felt like a clown jumping off a beam from this moment on, blocking her chest in one breath, unable to come up or go down. She must get angry today, otherwise she will feel uncomfortable all night. Lin Xiangxiang. Turn off the lights, good night. Lin Xiangxiang wrapped himself in a blanket and felt good, so he let himself sleep. Fu Xiyu's face suddenly turned red and she trembled with anger. She suddenly became anxious and said in a stern voice, a self-righteous thing. Lin Xiangxiang refused to fight, and she thought she was being cowardly for a moment. Thinking about it made her feel much better. After creating another wave of rumors on Weibo, I hummed a tune and went to wash up, ready to go to bed. This is a 4-person dormitory. In addition to Fu Xiyu and Yang Qingmei, there is also Song Ziyi who runs a school but takes the bus home every day to stay. She is solitary and doesn't like to talk, and her academic performance is not good, so she has no friends at school and always walks alone. I met her once by chance, and it was a fight with a thug on the street. Her body movements were clean and neat, either innate or years of hard work. This time, for the first time, Song Ziyi did not go home. If it weren't for her opening the door with the key and lightly touching it, Lin Xiangxiang would have thought she had been robbed. At that little sound, Fu Xiyu flipped over like she had been disturbed by a clear dream, and impatiently let out a low growl, "It's so noisy." Song Ziyi remained silent and placed his things on the table. He effortlessly took out a notebook from his bag and hid it under the bed. Through the faint typhoon, Lin Xiangxiang saw for the first time another expression on his calm face. Her lips curved a shallow curve, very shallow, and a gentle touch appeared on her usually plain face. The young girl was in a state of nostalgia, and Lin Xiangxiang quickly came to a conclusion. She turned over and felt drowsy. It was another morning when Lin Xiangxiang woke up amidst the clattering of ping-pong bells. He rubbed his brow and lazily rolled over, without even opening his eyes. "Qingmei, there's no class in the afternoon. Do you want to see a big star?" Fu Xiyu is an extremely self-centered person. As long as she sleeps, no one is allowed to make a sound. As long as she wakes up, she doesn't care about other sleeping people. End of this chapter.